Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Guys, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a TV show, and that TV show is Peacemaker. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, how are you?
Good, man. I'm good.
Season 1, too, actually.
Yeah, season 1.
So now we got official confirmation of the second one, yeah.
I did know that, yeah. We were going to get a season 2 of Peacemaker. What'd you think?
Dude, overall, Peacemaker was a character I didn't give a shit about. He was introduced in Suicide Squad. I really found John Cena to be interesting in it, but he didn't stand out to me by any means. I was kind of hoping for a Rick Flag series by the end. But after this first season of Peacemaker, I'm head over heels for Peacemaker. I love me some Peacemaker. I thought this season was awesome. I thought they took an F-tier character and made him someone I really much care about. James Gunn's writing very much shines through. You see his tone and his kind of artistic style in it for sure, and it's kind of cool to see it in this very long format where you can kind of really simmer in it for 8 episodes, right? I think.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I fucking thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the cast was great. I thought the story was cool. I thought John Cena was awesome. What about you, Gooch? What did you think?
Yeah, this show, it's kind of interesting that they basically made a show about a character nobody was asking for, and it's probably one of the best things to come out of DC in a while.
Absolutely.
I think this is James Gunn's best work, personally. I think given the amount of time a TV show gives you to flesh these characters out, it shows why Guardians and his Suicide Squad are as good as they are.
Absolutely.
Because you just gave him 8 hours to do that with one character, and it's hard not to care about Peacemaker now.
I agree.
You're kind of like, this is a cool character. I don't think Peacemaker is going to be going to be like a new big character, but I think you now know who he is.
I think this is going to increase his. I think this will move him up the tier list for sure. I think a successful show. I think this will make him a bit more of a mainstay DC character, but definitely not on the levels of like.
I liked the way they did some of the plots. We kind of have the 2 plots. One, being the butterflies, and then 2 being Peacemaker's dad and the
and
white
his conflict with that. Yeah,
and I think most kind of directors would have taken like a very
heavy-handed approach.
Heavy-handed, white supremacist, racist kind of storyline, and done it in a very how you would think
heavy-handed way,
how you would handle it in 2022 kind of way. And James Gunn does that, but doesn't do it.
I don't feel like he hammers you over the head with it at all. I think he does it in a way that I feel like respects your intellect.
I really like the way they did that storyline.
I agree too.
And I think they weave it into Peacemaker's backstory really well.
Absolutely.
And they make Peacemaker really likable.
Absolutely.
It's kind of hard not to like him.
He's a lovable doof.
I wouldn't say he was like that in Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was the base, and then this just kind of amped it up 10 or 15 levels.
Absolutely.
And then now you're like, oh, okay, I like Peacemaker, and I kind of feel bad for him, and now that I know where he comes from and who he is, and it's like, yeah, okay, this is all starting to make sense. And by the end, with Economist, with Harcourt, with Adebayo, you kind of like all these characters. Harcourt and Economist and Suicide Squad, you probably couldn't give a shit about.
So John Economist, I thought his title was John the Economist. No, I didn't realize his name was John Economos. I just didn't. I don't know why I felt very dumb. I was like, oh, his name is Economist. Yeah. I really liked him a lot. I thought this whole cast was
really
amazing.
Well done.
I genuinely. Yeah. The standout for me was Myrn, the guy who plays him. I can't remember. I don't know his name. He's a new guy. I thought he was awesome. I really did. I enjoyed him a lot.
And Judo Master ended up being pretty funny.
He was fun. I felt like he was probably the most underused in this, or underserved.
I think he was there for one, comic relief, and two, to have sort of an ancillary villain character to go along with the other villains,
the butterflies and stuff. Yeah. So. I gotta say, Gooch, I gotta ask you this because I know you're not usually the most gigantic fan of comedy, maybe in superhero stuff, or the jokiness, at least of Marvel. Do you think this does jokes better I find that it does it in a similar way that they did in Suicide Squad, or at least their humor and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it works because it's adult.
Yeah,
I think
I agree, 100%.
I was watching this whole thing, and I think I made the comment earlier on. It's DC shows that they can do both.
Absolutely. Well,
they can do comedy and it'd be adult, and do not the totally, super serious BVS,
They're willing
Man
to do
of
it.
Steel,
They are, yeah.
Snyder Cut, and do it well. Like,
Sure.
they're like DC is doing the spectrums that Marvel isn't doing, and I have to appreciate that because nobody was asking for a super adult
Superhero comedy show.
and the
live
Boys
action,
kind
yeah.
of fits that, but now we have a DC character in that role,
And it's a different type of
and it works.
Sure.
It works
And
really well.
The Boys does it in a different way of that's super hardcore satirization and just superheroes are the worst. Whereas
And
this satirizes superheroes in a different way, in a
more
cool
grounded
way.
way. And
Yeah.
Deadpool's kind of he's really on his own.
Sure.
Deadpool is
gonna-
sure, you could say that with Deadpool, but Deadpool's he's a meta character. It's not the same thing as Peacemaker, the type of comedy.
No, and like you were saying, even I think Marvel could do
Peacemaker isn't meta.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Marvel could do an adult series like this. They just don't want to take the chance. Unfortunately, I think they don't want to, and they seem to be taking somewhat of a chance with Moon Knight, at least from how Oscar Isaac is talking and stuff like that, with a darker tone and things like that. So I'm hopeful there, and even the Marvel TV stuff that's so different. But
and
this is very much its own style, and it's James Gunn style, but it works so well in the DC universe.
And we took a character nobody knows, nobody cares about. We made you like them.
Absolutely.
We made up a villain for this story, which is the Butterflies.
So they don't exist at all.
I don't think so.
Interesting. I did think that was an interesting
the
idea.
White Dragon, like a D-lister, let's cherry pick a villain from
so they do
DC's history, and we're gonna fit him into Peacemaker. Those two characters have nothing to do with each other in the comics, but I think what they do in making the White Dragon kind of they don't really go into an explanation of who he was, but
he was just apparently a shitty white supremacist who dressed up in a villain. Yeah. And no, I think it's well done.
What's his name? Robert Patrick coming back.
He's good.
He's kind of I feel like he's having not a Frasier sans like he is, but he's been in a lot more roles recently because we all know him for being the T-1000.
Absolutely,
that's his role.
Absolutely.
And I think he's doing a lot more, and I kind of like him. He played the piece of shit dad character really well.
No, he really did. I think he was one of the better parts of the series. Seeing him dance in the number was really funny to me. We'll talk about that. The opening scenes. Great. I watched it every single time.
Openings with shows, but
I usually do with certain ones, but this one I did not. The live music number. It was really good. It was great. But yeah, no, I think John Cena, he's great in this. He really is. He plays this kind of lovable idiot to a degree who is also this manic killing machine. I like his growth of going through the idea of well, I thought I was doing it for peace, but maybe I'm doing it just because I'm a shitty person. And these kind of conversations he's having with Vigilante, who I also absolutely loved.
I think Vigilante is the one thing that for some reason just didn't strike a chord with me. I think he's there for the comic relief, but I almost wish he doesn't fight or he's not in action scenes all that much. I wish he was more we saw more action scenes of Vigilante. Because I just don't think we saw enough.
Yeah, I felt like he was in it probably just as many of the action scenes as Peacemaker for the most part.
So. It's something with vigilantes. I'm a vigilante and I'm a trained killer. I didn't I got it. I understand that, but I don't think it was used enough.
Yeah, I really like.
Vigilante just didn't sit well with me. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
The character works as Peacemaker's dumb friend, essentially.
By the way, I love his costume. I know it's a simple, stupid costume, but I love it.
That's how it looks in the
That's
comics.
exactly, and
that's
what I love.
When they use him in Arrow, it's much different character. I mean, it's not Adrian Chase in Arrow, and the comic book, the outfit's a little different, but yeah, they kind of bring it back to base with this, and it's cool to see different interpretations of characters like that.
No, absolutely, and I really think that you need that, honestly, in shows like this. It's just different characters and stuff. But
did you like the inclusion of Amanda Waller?
Yes, and I actually would have been surprised if they didn't include her in some way, shape, or form. And there's kind of a twist later to do with her, which, you know what? Spoilers.
Yeah,
we'll go. Spoilers for everyone. I would say go check out Peacemaker if you are looking for a fun show to just watch. Not even if you like superhero stuff, but.
Yeah, Adebayo being her daughter was an interesting.
Totally new character, right?
Yeah. I was didn't really.
I really liked Adebayo too. Actually,
yeah, I did too.
I was surprised.
I was like, when I saw this cast, I was like,
Yeah, what's gonna happen here?
what's going on here? And James Gunn really put
He
it
does
together.
it. He really does, and he makes you. He builds up these characters so well to make you care about all of them. And by the end, when we suffer some losses, and even when Myrn dies, I was like, oh fuck, that's so sad. Like I really cared about that character, and to do that with characters that you know next to nothing about, that's just, I guess, good filmmaking or TV show making. But James Gunn just seems to have such a, I don't know, just finger on the pulse of these things, of how to bring them about in a way that is interesting, funny, aligns with the way he writes, but also makes you feel like they're faithful to the character. But I do think he has the plus side of dealing with a character that you can change his origin completely and no one's going to care.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can take in these.
You can't do
characters.
that with every comic book
You could not
character.
do that with Batman. You could not do that probably even with Green Lantern. You couldn't do that with C-list characters. People will start getting up in arms. But I think James Gunn working with a character like this allowed him to really kind of flex his narrative muscles and all that stuff. And I found it to be just a joy to watch. And yeah, I don't know. I really liked Vigilante. I liked his whole thing of he's not the most mentally sound individual. He's just kind of very black and white.
Apparently he was recast.
Oh yeah, so like halfway through the season he was recast, and you can see in a lot of scenes where it's just like him by, like, it just cuts back to him. But I think he came in about halfway through the series, so they had to reshoot like half of it. And then
What did James Gunn say the reason was?
he didn't
like,
really,
it wasn't working with
he just
the
said it
actor?
wasn't working out, and they just decided to go their separate ways. It seemed like a very amicable way of saying it. I don't know
really
exactly
interesting.
what happened. I can't remember the
I wonder how
the
often
actor.
that happens.
I don't know, but I mean, luckily they did have a character that's masked a lot, so thankfully they didn't have to go back and reshoot certain things. But yeah, other scenes where his face was obviously involved, they had to reshoot. But yeah, what did you think about the whole butterfly idea?
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, so it's like these.
I don't really have too much of an opinion about it other than, yeah, it worked.
I think it was a
didn't-
solid plot line.
Do I care about it in the end? Not really.
No.
But was it interesting in the moment? Yes.
Absolutely, I think it was a good kind of way to propel these characters forward, and the idea that they are doing this kind of external op for the government and all that. So they are kind of like the Suicide Squad still, but not necessarily. Like he's
So the way that Adebayo was kind of talking about it was like they were a like offshoot team of Task Force X, and I'm like, that makes sense, you know.
no, that does.
That the Suicide Squad just has like smaller operations going on with other members. It's like not the full team up all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, Harcourt is a comic book character. And she does lead the Suicide Squad in a few comics. That would be cool if
James Gunn's wife
it
plays
is-
Harcourt.
Yeah, if they eventually kind of did another Suicide Squad movie and maybe she was leading the squad or something.
That would be kinda interesting.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would. No, I think they really built up those characters, especially in a way that I was surprised about. Like Harcourt, I would not have expected by the end to give as much of a shit about her as I did, and I think that
I liked their like the little nickname they get. What was the 17th Street Kid, 16th Street
oh yeah,
Kids?
17, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I really liked like they all kind of bonded in the end, and yeah, they all kind of cared about each other in the end, even though they like most of them didn't like each other in the beginning. Like yeah, it was like kind of heartfelt.
Dude, I genuinely cared for this group of people that, you know what, by the end of Arrow, I didn't care about Team Arrow that much or anything like that. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know, it sucks to see with that stuff, but it's cool to see them bring about these people that are just C-listers and give things to actually talk about. But I had another thing to say, and I just, what were you?
Well, I love the inclusion, and I really want to get the shirt because it represents my ideology with DC with the rabbit in the Superman cape with the sign that says obstacles lead to opportunities. Like I think that will be in James Gunn movies forever from now on.
Where was that? Oh, was someone else wearing that shirt? I missed it.
Yeah, somebody else is. No, there's a bobblehead of it. I think in Peacemaker's car.
Gotcha.
It's Rick Flag's shirt.
Okay, yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, it's that bunny. I'm like, I need that shirt.
I would love to get that too.
Because that's
cool.
like that's James Gunn really like being like fuck Marvel.
Yeah,
for
fuck everyone.
firing
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Look what obstacles lead to opportunities, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
happened with James Gunn. And James Gunn took on the Suicide Squad and made a great movie, and then he started Peacemaker, and we're all like, huh? And He made
blew us out of the water again.
probably one of the best DC shows,
especially live action
in recent history.
Absolutely.
Like, and that was all because Marvel fired him over a tweet from like 2011.
Yeah, I know.
It
sucks, but
I don't think it sucks
it.
at all. I think it shows
No,
that
you're
like
right.
maybe I shouldn't just like dick suck Marvel all the time. Maybe I should go and do other things. Maybe.
Oh, I thought you were saying you. I was like, Gucci, you don't dick suck Marvel.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not even speaking to James Gunn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, maybe I should just go off and do other things. Maybe that's the better move. And clearly for James Gunn, that was.
No, it worked out.
He's back on
people were
Guardians 3,
excited.
and then he's going to be done. And he's, you know what? He's going to go back to Peacemaker after Guardians 3. That's what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we're going to get a Suicide Squad.
Well, and then he's also got
soon.
another Suicide Squad spin-off show that he's doing too in the meantime.
He is.
Yeah. So
you know what?
they didn't announce what we talked
like-
about this before, I think.
Yeah, I like how much about the show he's talking on Twitter.
He's a very interactive guy on Twitter.
And I have to appreciate him because as somebody who's like, I'm not like a James Gunn fan.
Sure.
But like if I was like on the level of like I am with like Kojima or like Snyder, because like Snyder doesn't talk all that much and he's really.
I love how
cryptic
he
when does.
immediately cuts rumors too. He's like, no, this is he'll like if he's-
Snyder?
No, James Gunn. Yeah. Like there was one
And we'll get to some controversy with that last episode.
with the last. The controversy is so fucking funny.
Did you remember what you were gonna say?
Yeah, so the one storyline that I was kind of sad that I felt like kind of just got tossed aside was the police stuff. Like once they got taken over by the butterflies.
I did kind of like those characters.
I was
they're
sad,
gone.
yeah, and they were just gone. I was like, oh man, I liked the especially the cops,
the detective.
both
the
of them. I
chick
thought
and
they
the
were really good,
guy.
and that kind of made me sad to see them just kind of get axed just out of nowhere. But yeah, I thought all the stuff with his helmets was really funny too. I found we forgot Eagly. I mean, the best
come on.
fucking part of the show.
Eagly worked.
Again, that felt very James Gunn to me in the way of, and I guess he does have.
Funny? He repeats the scene from Guardians 2 when Rocket Raccoon is running around in a forest running from the Ravagers. He does the same thing in this.
Yeah.
Except Peacemaker's helmet is tied to a raccoon who's being chased by a bunch of white supremacists in a forest.
I did love the part where it cuts. There are great moments of comedy that James Gunn just gets how to do, but like it cuts to the raccoon running around with the like Peacemaker helmet attached to him, and then it cuts to John and him, and he's like, "Who knew fucking raccoons were so vicious?" And he's like cut up all over and everything. I don't know why it made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, John Cena. You know, I don't know if I really cared about John Cena. No, I really don't care about him now. Especially since he's like the Chinese poster boy.
I know.
It's kind of hard to like
sucks.
take him seriously in certain ways,
Yeah.
but like he did a good job. In the
No,
role.
I think he's a good actor. I do, and I think he can be funny.
I don't know. I'm not gonna get upset about his Chinese ways.
I actually, he was up for
sympathizing.
Shazam. I think he might have been the better choice, personally.
I think Zachary Levi probably just isn't as outgoing as he is.
No, I think you're right. I do think a John Cena Shazam could have been very good, just as good, if not better.
You know what I really liked? How they kept going back to the Peacemaker. What a joke.
Yeah, that's it. I like the
With
scene
the
when he
Rick
just started
Flag
crying
voice.
over it, and then Vigilante walks in. Yeah,
What a joke.
what a joke. I want to rewatch that movie. Actually, I haven't seen it. I only watched it the one time.
We didn't see it together.
No, we didn't.
I think you were in Seattle.
Yeah, I think I was at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Gooch, give James Gunn more things.
Let's talk about that ending real quick.
Yeah.
Restore the Snyderverse, people. Let's fucking go. Aquaman, Jason Momoa makes an appearance.
Yeah, and Flash.
And Ezra Miller. And apparently, Batman and Cyborg were cut from that final shot.
Yeah, they were just going to show up like the other ones did, like where they were just silhouettes
but
and stuff.
DC's reasoning is like, we have other film projects. I thought we were beyond those days. Remember when Batman, like they wouldn't let people use Batman or Suicide Squad because they were locked up on other things. And
I
I'm
also
like,
think
really?
with Batman, it makes a bit more sense to me in the way of there's a lot of confusion and weird stuff going. Like there's Keaton Batman. Ben Affleck Batman is also showing up in the next one, which again, that does make sense if he does show up there. It does make sense if you do see Batman, but then you got fucking what's his name's the Batman, Robert Pattinson. So like, I don't know. And also, I think Ray Fisher burned a bridge there. Unfortunately, like whether or not it was right, I think whether or not he was right to do so is up to whatever. Like I just think they're kind of like
in the shot.
Yeah, he should. It would have been nice to just see the silhouettes.
And it probably wouldn't have been him. And that's
no,
fine.
no, but that's what I mean. It would have just been a silhouette. But maybe they were like, nah, fuck Cyborg now. I don't know.
Because like, do I think Gal Gadot and like they didn't Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa sharing like a fuck you Barry like that was really funny.
I loved it.
It's like I'm tired of that fucking joke and like they're cursing and then apparently there is 30 minutes of like unused footage that
him just kind of going off.
Apparently like Ezra Miller's calling like Harcourt like a little boy.
Yeah,
like I'm like that's so funny.
No, dude, again,
and like that's such a line pusher and I love how James Gunn's willing to push lines even with those characters who like would never say that sort of thing. And
I think them allowing the Justice League to show up there shows you how much trust they have in him too.
Restore the Snyderverse, baby.
Yeah.
Restore that shit.
Well, like, I do appreciate that they were like, why aren't we calling the Justice League? Like, this is a fucking...
Harcourt's like, Waller, you need to call him the Justice League.
Yeah, and she's like, we'll do the best we can. And then fucking Twitter spoiled that for me. But,
you gotta watch things quick. I never get spoiled, and I'm on Twitter
it's the day
of.
No, you know what it was? It was
watch shit before I do, actually.
That's what I was on that day.
Like that morning.
So what happened, I was Twitter... Stop recommending shit for me. Stop recommending topics.
Should we do a dance for our podcast?
Yeah. Unless I'm following it, don't show it to me. I don't want to see it.
See, I kind of like and dislike that.
I don't know.
I get a ton of Attack on Titan stuff, and I'm like, I'm just spoiling the show for
me.
It's
funny. I keep getting Cyberpunk stuff for some reason.
You probably liked some Cyberpunk.
I must have liked maybe one or two things. But yeah, I forgot. What were we just saying? I totally lost my train of thought.
Were we talking about the Justice League included?
Yeah, I thought that was just... It makes you feel like that universe is alive.
Mike Lasacci, friend of the show, he texted me. He's like, dude, you're going to flip. And I'm like, Snyder? And he's just like, I'm not saying anything.
God, I loved seeing Momoa in his full Aquaman outfit. It was good. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, but as to like what we're gonna get, like I don't know what the fuck I want from Peacemaker. Like more of the first season. Let's do some new stuff. Maybe introduce another Suicide Squad, a bigger Suicide Squad character to come kind of join him. Maybe,
I would like to see something. I
wouldn't mind not really seeing Vigilante come back in a way.
I think he's definitely gonna come back.
Like, yeah, I think it would be cool to maybe bring someone back from the Suicide Squad team, or maybe bring a new character.
Well, and I kind of think that's the beauty
of
of Peacemaker and him being much more
and maybe do a more well-known villain.
You can go anywhere they want. I really feel like they can just go anywhere, and I think that's what excites me the most. It really is, and I think with James Gunn helming it, I'm gonna be there.
Get it,
helming it. Yeah, he's gonna be helming it. I'm trying to think of anything else that we have missed.
I think that's it. I don't really think we missed too much. Did you like the plot twist of like Myrn being a butterfly?
Yeah, I thought that was great. I didn't see it coming at all. I thought that was cool. I thought it was a good little reveal. I thought the way Adebayo figured it out was funny too, and I like the idea that Harcourt already knew. And like that, and then even there are things that in this show where someone will point out. So they're like, "Did you know so and so did this?" And then someone's like, "Yeah, I knew that."
I just thought about Judah Master just constly eating. Is he always
spicy flaming hot Cheetos?
Yeah, flaming hot Cheetos.
I don't know why.
All the time.
That's just what he likes.
And he's just like again, like that character, comic book character, cool inclusion, and they're like, but James Gunn can just fuck around with that shit.
No, he can.
He did it in Guardians. You know, he did this. He does the same thing in Marvel.
No, and again,
He clearly has like he's a B movie director who also likes B movie esque things.
Yeah, no, and I think he does a great job of, like you were saying, even with like the stuff with his dad and all that stuff. He does a really good job at presenting his ideas in a way that doesn't feel browbeating.
I'm looking forward to Robert Patrick coming back as his dad's voice in his head.
Absolutely.
Because he's going to.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool, we killed off, I forget his dad's actual name.
Oh, I can't remember.
We killed
White
off...
Dragon. That's what.
Yeah, we killed off the White Dragon, Peacemaker's dad, but Peacemaker's still not past the trauma of his dad, so he's going to be a voice in his head.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a cool way to kind of like take a character out, but also still
kind of leave them there, and still be able to use them. I agree. I think overall, man, Peacemaker, it's just what a joke, man. It's I don't even know. I'm speechless right now. It's good. It's really good, and that's all I can really say. I just can't put it past anymore. It was so much fun to watch. I didn't find any of the episodes to be boring.
Yeah,
but I really found that they all kind of ended on a good cliffhanger. I enjoy a week-to-week show now.
Marvel
I really
needs to take a note Disney needs to take a note from the way DC decides to release like 3 episodes at a time. I think that I think that is only to their benefit because they missed the mark there with Boba Fett. They should have released.
I think you're right.
They missed the mark with WandaVision. It should have been like 3 or 4 episodes released, and then.
Well, I think it can really go either way. Like I feel like Hawkeye could have been released all at once, and I would have been fine with that. Personally, I think it actually would have served it better. Whereas like. There are certain shows like The Mandalorian where I do think that actually works.
Well, they
week
like
to
that
week.
week-to-week drama,
and I think it helps. And I think this
when we're talking about.
I think Amazon did this too with The Boys. They released like the first 3 episodes, and then it's week by week after that. I think that's the way to do it.
I think it's a good way to do it.
I think that's and WandaVision did that, right? Didn't?
No,
it was the first 3 episodes. I'm pretty confident it was.
No,
yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. No, you remember it like that because it almost feels like that. It was not.
I don't think they only released 1.
They did
at the first.
They did because remember we finished that episode and you were like, huh?
WandaVision release. I'm confident it was 2 episodes. WandaVision release schedule. This might be kind of tough to pull up. Yeah, episode 1 and 2 are January 15th,
and then 2 and then 3, but it should have been all the ones.
The first and second episode, yeah. And
okay, fine. I'll give it.
Eat it, dude.
I'll give it to you. But like, what I mean is like all the ones that lead, like we should have gotten the first
that gets you really into it,
right? Because those first 3 episodes are all like within their show, and they give you no context, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? Like those all should have came out together, and then the next one should have been the in person.
I agree.
Real time going on.
I would concur, Gooch. I would concur. Absolutely.
Go watch Peacemaker. Guys.
Yeah, go watch Peacemaker. Great. Go watch Suicide Squad if you haven't already.
Kind of a little bit required viewing to watch Peacemaker. I feel like you need the context of Suicide Squad to kind of understand where the character is coming from.
I disagree. Personally, I think they catch up pretty well at the beginning.
I'm the kind of person who says like you need to
watch everything.
Right. You need to watch everything. Don't make an excuse.
Yeah. So fuck you. Watch them all. But Gooch, I think that does it for us today. Guys, thank you so much if you've been watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We very much appreciate it. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can join our Discord channel. You can email us, delconerds@gmail.com, with all your comments, questions, or concerns. We'd be happy to get back to you. And hey, if you could leave us a review on one of your favorite Spotify or podcast services, it's very helpful. 5 stars are
we are very close to 100 subs on YouTube. We are like 1 away.
Yeah, so
if you're fucking watching this stream right now or listening to this and you're not subbed on YouTube,
take your friend's phone and just subscribe on their YouTube.
I will know who's the 100th sub.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will make a big deal.
We'll make a big announcement. And if not, like I said, steal your friend's phone for a second, subscribe on their YouTube app, don't tell them about it, then hand it back to them, lie to them, say we talk about
I would like a genuine sub, not a cash.
I don't care. I'll take whatever it is. I'll take your dirty little sub. Anyways, for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.